active, you know, when they decided that they didn't like the kind of government they had. So, and even Mises talks about this, and I use a quote frequently from him because he talks about people who are the academicians and think and write about theory, and then there are others who take this and take these theory and make them palatable and practical for the average person to know and understand and support. I think Deborah has done that, and I think all of us do that to some degree. And so it is important. I mean, the academicians can make some of this material very complicated, but ultimately the people who vote, vote in their own self-interest. And even when they pretend to be only humanitarian, and there's nothing wrong with voting in your self-interest. So, but the big job that we have is to teach people that freedom is in their self-interest. That's what we need. The liberals have always had the moral high ground, the big government people. They always do it because they're going to take care of us. Whether it's the do-good liberalism of social policy, or whether it's this do-good liberalism, even though they call it neoconservatism, about policing the world and taking care of everybody. It's the same thing, this whole idea that we're going to take care of people and you have to depend on the government. But today, though, we have a tremendous opportunity. And the other side knows it too, because it was, I think it was Obama as well as Rahm Emanuel said, don't ever let a crisis go to waste. You know, there's a crisis, you know, that's using. And that is essentially what happened on 9/11. You know, they didn't concoct the Patriot Act on 9/11. It had been around, so they didn't allow that emergency go to waste either, and they made use of it. And even Kissinger, anybody see that quote from Kissinger just recently? Yes. He said, yes, indeed, there is a problem, there is a crisis, and it provides a good opportunity for us to promote the New World Order. So this is the way they think. That doesn't mean that we don't think in a similar way that if there is a problem, people are worried and they're concerned, that maybe they ought to move in our direction. Of course, that is our job, to be political activists, is to take sound economic and political theory and make it palatable and understandable so that people say it is in our best interest to vote for liberty. And I think the opportunity is here, because as I traveled the country, more so in the last year or two than I had prior to that I found out that people are very receptive, not because of the theoretical part about the benefits of liberty, but the absolute evidence now that those who claim from the big government viewpoint that they would take care of us, oh yeah, cradle to grave, and we would police the world and bring about peace and prosperity and all these promises. Boy, the one thing for sure is that there's a lot of skepticism out there, and it's very healthy. So this provides a tremendous opportunity for us. And this is why I'm delighted with what Deborah's doing and what you're doing across the whole state in trying to organize and make plans. And it's in a way, it's a continuation of, you know, what our campaign was doing last year, and in our campaign for liberty, because we've never believed in top-down management. I think it's important that we bring the ideas together and that we all know what we believe in, but when it comes to grassroots organization, they really have to be grassroots. And I think this plan to have the entire state of Texas well represented and on the same wavelength, I think this is fantastic. And of course, there's so much more education going on too, so that they're working well together. When I'm visiting with the young people coming to my office now, which is more frequent than before, then when they come in, I mean, 16 years old, 18, college students, they're coming in, and they're fascinated with this whole idea of freedom and sound money and the Federal Reserve, and I'm just utterly amazed at how much enthusiasm there is. And there has been a change in Congress too, believe it or not. No change in policy yet, but there's an attitude change that I have recognized. And when I say that it comes and it benefits me directly, when I'm talking about it, it benefits our views directly. In that, for so many years, and off and on, for 30 years, I first ran for office in 1974, but did a lot of medicine in between. And I took the attitude that, I wasn't in sync. They weren't ready, they weren't listening, they really didn't care, but I had one job, and that was to present the case and vote the way I was supposed to. And maybe someday somebody would look at that record and say, yeah, that's the way they should have voted, and that's what they should have done. But to my surprise, in the last year or so, there has been a transition. And in some ways, I think there was a dramatic change in the campaign. And if that is the case, we might have to send a thank you note one of these days to Rudy Giuliani. he probably did more to get us some attention. At first, of course, a lot of people thought the attention was all negative, but not too long after that, it became more positive. But now that the economy has come unglued, which is very bad, but in a sense, so many of us expected it, and it was predictable. Austrian economists have been predicting this all along. They predicted the chaos of the 70s, the breakdown of Bretton Woods. And of course, I've been talking about this for a long time. And now, so many members of Congress are, let's say, more respectful to these views, will ask questions, and interested in my analysis. And so that might not be much, because so far we haven't been able to stop the spending. Here we go. We have a program where we spend $350 billion, and they waste it. Nobody knows where it went. So what is the solution? Come back and get another $350 billion. And that, of course, was brought up this week again to have a vote on it. And there was, even though there was a debate, there was no resistance to it, and the $350 billion of additional funds will be given out. But even with the $350 billion, which is a tremendous amount of money, it neglects paying attention to the trillions of dollars of money that is created by the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve, and the chairman's pretty blunt, they don't have to tell us a thing. And under the law, they don't have to tell us a thing. And that's how out of control government is. But more and more people are starting to understand this, and they are listening. And it's a tremendous opportunity. I do truly believe there are some revolutionary things going on. But in the midst of a revolution, a significant change in attitudes, it's sort of risky, because those in charge believe that the whole mess that we have today was because we weren't spending enough, we weren't borrowing enough, and we weren't inflating enough. So that's what they want to do. They want to spend more.